Okay, here is the ArcMap 10 project we have so far, and I'll break this whole procedure down to a few steps and record them separately, and hope my computer doesn't crash yet again. And the first thing, as you can see, we have the 2012 NAIP images all the way to 2005, and we have the index grids here, and the CalVeg layer here. Now we need to create a new blank polygon shapefile to begin with. We don't use any of these existing shapefiles. Now, one thing I want to mention here is just in case you're not familiar with this situation, and we're going to use shapefile for this tutorial, and it actually is more efficient to use geo database format, just a newer format. But I suspect you're not familiar with geodatabase, so I'm going to stay with shapefile for this tutorial. Maybe some other time we'll go over the other method. And so the first step again is we need to create a blank polygon shapefile. So what we do is, and first let's open up the catalog window if it's not already open. And this catalog window can be docked anywhere you want, so it may not be exactly where you see on my screen, but you can move it around. And what we do is, of course, we go to our workspace. In this case, I'll go to my W drive, June Mountain. I'm gonna put it in this, let's say, tutorial folder. And I'm gonna right click on it, and I'll create a new, and I'll choose a shapefile. Here I'm gonna name it June Mountain. What is that? Sorry about that. Tree Mortality, and I'll start with 2005 baseline. Make sure you can name it whatever you want. Make sure it's a polygon, and this is important for spatial reference, and we're gonna choose, in this case we're gonna import it from an existing layer. We're gonna go to the same folder, W drive, my workspace, June Mountain. I'm going to go, because all the NAIP files are in the same projection, so it really doesn't matter. I'm going to 2005 RGB. I'm going to choose this one. Now what I just did is to actually tell the system that for this new polygon shapefile, use the exact projection as in this layer I just referenced to. That would be one of the 2005 NAIP images. And I'll hit OK. And the other stuff you can leave it alone, and we're good to go. And it takes a couple of seconds. You see this new layer is popping up here for us to work with. And as we just discussed a little bit on the phone, and what we want to do is for the following years, you need to build upon this shapefile rather than start something new. And I'll show you how to do that later. But here we have a blank polygon shapefile, which we'll use to host all the mortality polygons in 2005. So next step I will do is I will check off this catalog window now, just to give me a little bit more screen space. I'll move this one out to 8. And I'll turn on my 2005 image as a reference. As you can see in this group, I have both the natural color and the color infrared images here. And since in 2005 there was really little mortality to be looked at, so it took me a little while to find something, even though I'm still not 100% sure if these are actually dead trees. So I'm going to start with the RGB natural color image. So now just another thing here is in a software like ArcGIS, all the colors you see here are not true colors. I mean, there's really no true colors. We all see colors differently, but especially in software, you can play with the color and choose how you want the software to display the same image very, very differently depending on how what segment of the data you are digging into for information. So I think I found something a little bit here, which I suspect. Oh, where did it go? And whatever. I think now, for example, here, this may be one. This one right here. This may be one dead tree. Let's switch over to the calling thread. Just flip back and forth. Yes, these are dead trees. What I see here is this spot right here. Here are the trees already probably defoliated, and this one is still, leaves are still on, but probably dead. Let's see. Yes. So next thing I'm gonna draw some polygons around these trees. Okay. What I need to do is first. Now this is important. One thing I want to do is to click on this target polygon shapefile that I will be drawing the polygons all, and I'll right click on it. I'll make sure in here selection to make this the only selectable layer. Now don't ask me why, there are many reasons, but make sure you do this. Make sure this is the only selectable layer. Okay, again here, right click in selection, make this only selectable layer. And now I'm gonna, with this layer selected, I'm gonna go to editor, and if you don't see this toolbar in ArcGIS 10, go to customize toolbar and click editor. Okay, now I'm gonna go to editor, start editing. See, since there's so many layers in this project, I want to make sure that I'm editing the right layer. So what I will do is I will find that target layer, which will be June Mountain Tree Mortality 2005. Okay, and I'll hit OK and start editing into some less warning. That's okay. Sometimes you see this this particular case is the projection we use for this layer doesn't match the projection for this data frame, but let's not worry about it. Just continue. Okay, now this layer is here for us to work with, and by default it goes into create features mode. Now you can switch between create a feature, again back to on this editor toolbar, create feature, edit sketch properties, we'll see what that is later, and attributes. Now I forgot one thing here is if you open up the attribute table, now right now by default for a new polygon layer it comes with just one attribute for you to work with, basically the ID, and we're gonna need a little bit more, at least one more attribute. That would be the class number. And if you try to add field here, it won't work. That's because this layer is in the edit mode. So what we need to do is actually we'll have to stop editing first, come back to the attribute table window. Now I do add field. So first one I will add is class num. So that'll be class number, integer is good. Hit OK. Maybe I'll add another one like a note. I'll do add field notes. I'll give it a text just in case there's something important you want to write in there. So 100 characters should be sufficient. Now they're in there. Now I'm gonna start editing again with this layer selected. Edit, start editing, and I'm gonna make sure my target layer is the correct one. Hit OK, OK again. Here it's right here. All right, now we're good to go. Now let's delineate some dead tree polygons here. For example, here, so there are different tools you can use to digitize a polygon. You can see here construction tools. You can draw a polygon, or you set geometry using rectangle, circle, and all that. And experiment with this yourself and see how they differ. But the two tools we'll use mainly will be the top polygon and freehand. And so let's first try polygon. I'll hit polygon, and now when I move the mouse back into the map area, you can see this cross shows up. So what I'll do is click, 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 click. I'll follow again as precise as possible. There you go. At the end, I'll double click, and it's done. And one polygon is created. Now I want to add some attribute to it. So essentially, I will just go back here and switch to attribute. Now this one is still being selected. I will put an ID 1 and class number. I will give it. Let's see. This one is. Let's suppose 0 is non-forest. Polygon 1 is low mortality. 2 is medium. 3 is high. This one clearly is high, so it's all trees dead. Now this goes to another thing is when you use this method, this precise digitization of dead trees, and this severity ranking becomes very tricky as we talk on the phone. And the better practice, I think, is really to try to digitize as closely as possible along the boundaries of the dead trees. Now, when you do this, it's almost automatically full mortality for that digitized polygon, right? And unless you want to account for the gaps between canopies, then you have a percentage of dead canopy cover within that polygon. Well, that's not a story. But other than that, it's really you're digitizing all the dead trees. Of course, sometimes they have a big polygon. Just a couple of trees left standing, not dead, and that gives you a different percentage. But you think hard how you want to deal with before you start. And this is very different from using the fixed grid system, where it's very straightforward that you have to come up with the estimated percentage of dead trees in that grid cell. So again, here, let's assume we still have this severity ranking. I'll give it class 3. That will be the highest mortality. Let's do another one, and this one's done. One thing I would like to do always is save frequently. Not only save this polygon, I'll save the project too. And again, like my computer was just crashed this morning, and ArcMap is notoriously unstable, and you don't want to lose your work when it crashes for whatever stupid reason that cannot be explained. And not only make sure you save frequently, I would also frequently export copies of my working file. I'll go here, right click, I go to data, export data, and I'll save a couple of copies each working session. Let's see, today is February 5. I'll save it like the same name with 2003 February 5 and version 1 or blah blah blah. And the reason is sometimes when you are in the editing mode in ArcMap, and if it crashes, it can mysteriously damage or change some of your polygons, your geometry, the shape, whatever you want to call them, and it's not always obvious, so you don't know. So it's nice to have multiple copies or backups of the files, so you can always roll back and go to work on a previous version and just make sure you minimize your loss. So again, we're done here. Let's do another one, but this time we go back. First, we go back to create a feature. I'll use freehand to trace this one, and I'll use freehand. All right, this is a little bit easier, and instead of a click for the boundary, I'll click start. Now just let it go and free flow. I didn't have to click, but this is important. Now just before the ends meet, right, when you want to close it, don't let them cross first, and stop somewhere from it, and now double click and let the software close the polygon for you rather than. And what you do not want to do is, I'll give you example. I'll start somewhere here. I'll start drawing. So excited. I crossed. Okay, not good. I crossed back on. Oh, okay. Now I double click. Now this creates a complex shape, which can be a little bit problematic down the road. So we want to avoid this kind of complex polygon. And let's delete it. So, ding, 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 ding. I'll delete it. And what you want to do again, let me show you again. Freehand, click and trace. Before the ends meet, double click and let the software close it for you. Okay, delete it here. Now we have this one. Make sure I'll add some attributes. I'll make sure this one's selected. I will jump back to attribute, and here this will be my ID, polygon number 2. Actually, don't worry about the ID. You see here, FID, it's automatic ID number the software assigns to each geographic feature. So you already have an ID. So you don't really need to worry about this ID here all that much, unless you want to name it somewhat. So that's another story. And this class again is 3. So that's pretty much it. Digitizing a polygon. Sometimes when it's not perfect, first let me make sure I change the symbology. That's better. That is better. And I don't like it. See here, this section, this one is not that tree, and you have so much time. You really want to be so precise. I'll come back here. First, I'll make sure I select this polygon. And I need to fine-tune the shape of this thing. Now what I need to do is I'll show you a couple of tools here. I'll edit vertices. Boom, you see. Now it gives me the option to play with all these different vertices. In other words, each turning point along this polygon. In this case, when we used the polygon tool, that would mean that actually each point would be one of those spots where you clicked. So you can move your mouse over it and just click on it and move it around to be precise. Alright, now if you want to be more, of course, more vertices you have, the more refined you can adjust the polygon. So if you feel like you need one more vertex here to break this line to 2 sections, you can do that. So what you need to do is really, you see these 2 here just popped up. Added vertices. I'll add one right in the middle. See, one more here. I'll back to use the selection tool again. Click and move it closer. Move this one closer. And in other cases, if you think like here, maybe here, like this one is not necessary. You want to simplify the polygon a little bit. And I'm just really being picky right now. I'll delete vertex. I just move my mouse over on top of it. I'll just click. It's gone. Now, when you're done, happy with it, you can make sure you finish sketch. Boom, there you go. Now this polygon is updated. You can actually, this is pretty easy to do, like in this one. Let's just select another one. Oh, no. Yeah, what did I just do? Undo move. Yeah, there we go. You can actually move the whole thing if you want. It's pretty easy. Click, hold, and move. What else? Some other tools for you to edit, and you probably don't need to worry in this case. Now, if I don't like the shape of the polygon, I want to make it look even better, more aggressively, rather than just using edit vertices too. Like as here, we just showed you using vertices to fine tune, but if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, and rather than adding each segments as such, you can use other tools such as reshape feature 2. I'll show you here. I'll click it. I'll click I want to add a segment to it, so I first click one spot here. Let's see, add something. Let's see its whole thing is, and I'll close it down here. Boom, there we go. Just add one section to it, or the other way around. You'll notice, hey, this is really not it, so I'm going to use a clip, cut polygon tool. There's so other all these different tools here, and play with them, and it's pretty straightforward. I'll cut it. Now it becomes 2, and I'll select the one I didn't want, and wait, I'll make sure it's selected and delete it. Now I still just have 2 polygons here. Well, that really is it. Again, edit attribute, add something to it, select it, switch to add attributes. Dialog tapping some dead trees. So, and that should be it. Save frequently, save edits. I even save the project frequently, and export the data to multiple copies as you progress, and just make sure you have something to recover back to. And when you're done, close it down properly in the editor, stop editing. That should do it. Okay, let's create a new blank shapefile, polygon shapefile, and start drawing dead trees. Okay, now suppose we finished 2012, 2005. We want to move on to the next year. As we discussed on the phone, we want to build upon the existing polygon layer from the previous year's mortality map rather than create something completely new. So I'll show you how to do that. I have 2012 color infrared image showing here. You can quick comparison from 05 to 12. You can see there's dramatically more dead trees in this area. And so what we want to do here is first I want to make a copy of this 2005 mortality polygon layer. I'll put it in the same folder, and I'll just call it, I already created one here, but for the purpose of demonstrating, just pretend it's not here. Name it June Mountain Tree Mortality 2012. Yes. Okay. Create something new and name it differently. -1. Wait. Oh, here, this one, because I still have this project in the editing mode. Let's do that again. Data, export. Back here, 2012, override it. Yes, yes. I'll edit. Yes, editing here. Same thing. Here, it's an exact copy of the 2005 version. A quick trick here in terms of symbology, and double-click, go into the property, or right-click and go into property. Sorry, my computer is a little slow. And you can import the symbology from another layer in the project. In this case, I'll choose from 2005. See, I just borrowed the exact symbology from another layer. I'll turn the 05 version off. Just maintain it to off. Now I need to, delineate all these new dead trees. Yeah, so this is what I do. And remember again, the reason we want to build upon a map from the previous year is because we want to make sure the boundaries match. In this case, here is a good example. And if you start something completely new without referencing back to the existing polygons, the second time you draw a polygon, even though this dead tree polygon boundary should follow exactly the same thing, assuming the first time you digitized it was accurate and precise, but when you digitize it again, you may not be able to follow the exact boundary. Of course, there's a way to do that, but that's beyond this tutorial. You don't want to draw something like here and roughly, especially when you have such a much larger mortality area, and you want to go quick and draw something and end up with 2 polygons that the boundaries don't match. which would be a little bit annoying when you do the vertical comparison year to year. You do see when you do simple spatial analysis, the number may not be as precise as you would love it to be, and so this is how we deal with it. And of course, if it's just simple expansion here, we can use tools we already talked about. Just expand the polygon. Let me go here, and let's do this. I'll start editing. Make sure this is selected. Right click and make sure this is my only selectable layer. And go to edit, start editing, and make sure my target layer is selected properly. To the Mortality 2012. Yes, good. Hit OK. Continue. Now, when you first open this, you may see, wait a minute, there's nothing to work with. That's okay, don't worry about it. We need to create a template for it. So we go to click this button over here, Organize Templates. And you see 2 layers in my workspace, which will be the folder. 2005 will have a template for it. Good, that's why I could work with it. But for 2012, there's nothing here, which is okay. We'll just create a new template. And set the layers you want to create a template for. Make sure it's selected the 2012. Hit finish. Now it's here, right? So close it. Now back here. See, the tools are back home. So again, assume this is just a simple expansion, a little bit larger, right? So what we can do is either, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay. I'll just turn off the attribute table to get a little bit more screen real estate. And the first method is I'll select it. I'll just use the edit vertices too. And let's see, we'll just expand it if it's just as simple as that, right? So expand it. I can again add more vertices. Add one here and make it as such, right? I'll keep going until it's satisfactory and finish it. Right, so this is one way to do it. And again, you can change the attributes. If attribute changed from one year to another, and same thing, you can type in different attributes. Now another way to do it, if you have a much larger area, in case here is, I'll show you another way to do it. It's different from simple expanding one existing polygon. Is watch this. This time I'm going to still create a new feature. Alright. Oh, I turned it off. So I'm going to turn this. Make sure again. Repeat this process. Okay, now this time I am going to add a new polygon. I'm just going to use freehand 2. Click, trace. I'm just doing it very roughly. Before the ends meet, double click, new polygon. Next, I will select all 3 of them. So with this one already selected, I'm hold down the shift key. I'm going to select the other 2. As you can see in that attribute table, they are highlighted or highlighted. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to merge. There we go. Now it becomes a new polygon. And of course, you can do the same thing with attribute table. Let's see. Class 3. I'm called whatever. And you're done. Save, edit. Stop editing. Close it down properly. Save project. Here you go. From 2000. You can see from 2005 to 2012. And now when you put the 2 layers together, you will see the change from year to year. And probably a better way to do this is I'll put the early year up. Maybe I'll use different color. Just there's not good here. Here, see, year to year, the change.